was his decision not to take the fight. That's what you said.
2017 is what he said. And it's like, I've had people say, man, put the email out. I won't do it. 'Cause number one, to me, it's not that serious. And I feel like, man, my word should mean something. And I'm going to say it. I'm not a dude that lies. Like, I'm going to just say it, and if it's believed, it's believed. If it's not, it's not. I can literally pull that up right now. Between, Rock Nation and Tom Lawford, the fight was offered 50-50. Every detail was 50-50, and we made a conscious decision as a team to make him a 50-50 offer, just so there was no wiggle room about, 50-50, the weight, everything. Hey, that's great, appreciate the offer, and I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but, maybe if this fight is still high, we'll do it in 2017. Well, we know what that means. But then they go on the record and say the opposite. And that's fine. If we'd have kept it quiet, if you just say, hey, man, we're moving on, Ward's a great fighter, Golovkin's a great fighter, we're done. But they keep talking about it. So, I'm going to be honest about what happened. They didn't want the fight. And it shouldn't have took Kell Brook doing what he did to show people why they didn't want the fight.
Do you think deep down, or maybe not deep down inside, but do you think his team either thinks or knows that he can't beat you?
I mean, I don't know. There's a reason why they didn't want the fight. And they can say whatever they want, but the reality is they didn't want the fight. And I think you get more respect from fans. I think, just even amongst other fighters, because fighters know. There's a media, there's you guys, and then there's the fighters, and the industry knows. Like that's a good barometer to see. And I'm me aside, like to see what you say, who's the best. Your peers will let you know where you stand. How, is this dude a great dude? What kind of dude is he? Your peers will let you know. They're going to keep it real. What about this fighter? What kind of quality fighter is him? Your peers collectively are going to let you know. And they've spoken out about this situation many, many times.
Was it him trying to get something off mentioning your name? Because he brought it up a couple years ago, and then ever since he said that 54-68, Andre Ward, why not? He's been real quiet about it. Was that initially just him trying to get his name out? Was that Golovkin just trying to get his name out there when he initially called you out those couple years ago? Or not called you out, but when they
mentioned a weight class?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's tough to say. I just know when I heard my weight class, I perked up. I was like, oh, really? Okay, well, let's try to make it happen. And it was more out of a respect thing. It wasn't a disrespect. You can want to fight a guy and still have a level of respect for him. It's not a disrespectful thing. They crossed the line and gotten disrespectful, and we're not going to get in the pig pen and get dirty with them. But we thought I thought it would be a great matchup for the fans, man. I really, really thought that fight should have happened before this Kovalev fight should have happened.
Triple G, would that have been a tougher? You don't know until you get in the ring with the guy, but on paper, does he look like an easier matchup than Kovalev because he is smaller?
But Golovkin's a good fighter.
Definitely.
He's a good fighter, man. He does get hit a lot. And I don't think he has as many dimensions as Kovalev. I honestly think Kovalev is a better fighter.
And
that's a good headline.
If you're aware of, there's rumors there that they had some kind of sparring session and Golovkin got the better of him. I'm not too sure how true they are.
Does anybody have any kind of direct knowledge of that?
You're looking right at me.
No, honestly, I don't. Yeah, I'm not trying to.
I spoke to both.
Freddie has
John,
said
David.
Abel
I spoke
Sanchez
to
has said
Abel. So there's two sides.
So that really
to the
happened?
story. It happened. Okay. John David says that Sergey just had an off day. He wasn't training. Abel says that Gennady beat the crap out of him.
Can you take that to something, to some kind of knowledge?
You just take a note of it. It's not everything.
Yeah.
Does that make you happy to hear?
Not happy.
Any kind of information you can get that's not good from the other side is good. I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah, for sure. I'll take it.
Andre Kovalev sat ringside at your last fight, and then he stepped into the ring and he spoke to you. What was your impression, and what did you see in his eyes?
I mean, if I see anything in Kovalev, he believes in his ability, man. And he's the type of fighter, and he has the type of background from where he comes from, and the way he's going about his career, where his nickname or his moniker says a lot. He wants to try to break you. He wants to try to break you mentally. He wants to try to eventually break you physically. And I don't know what I see in his eyes, but I feel like what he sees in my eyes is that it's not going to be what he thinks it's going to be. So, and you get that first you can't get it in that moment that we had after my last fight, but you get it with the first stare down. So when we looked at each other, I'm not turning, bro. And he's looking like I'm not turning, bro. So they're gonna have to physically break us apart because I'm not budging. And you can feel that. So we're getting ready to put that on display November 19th.
And that's
Right.
at
You
the
know what I
same-
mean?
Andre, at the same
Andre, when they asked you about your first loss, it kind of stuck out to me that you remembered it so vividly and that you recalled it. Why is it that you remember it so vividly?
I hate to lose.
Yeah, it just imprinted in your mind that much.
I hate it. I don't like it. I don't like the way it feels. I don't like anything about losing. I know, sometimes you can't win them all. But I try. I'm trying. I try to win everything. I don't care if it's a card game. I don't care if it's checkers. I'm trying to win. And this dude is laughing right here. That's one of my best friends. He's probably equally as competitive. So on the plane ride over, we playing checkers, and he's talking. That's just me. It's always been me. Like I'm gonna go through whatever I gotta go through to get there, man.
Was it not a turning point, but a point where you said to yourself, you know what, I'm never gonna ever let this happen to me ever again?
That was it. I remember that was a long plane ride home from Lenexa, Kansas to Oakland, California. Like it was long. And I just felt I didn't feel like I performed the way I was supposed to perform, at that time. And, again, it was, it's a smoker. It's a 3.5-minute round fight. Close fight. It can go either way. But I didn't like it, man. And that's why I know everything isn't in my hands. A lot of this stuff is ultimately in God's hands. I don't make the ultimate decision. But the training, the preparation, the diet, the things that are in my hand, that's why I just try to lock in and do what I got to do. So when that week of the fight comes and I go back over my checklist, I'm not questioning myself like, man, you could have ran a little harder, you could have went an extra mile. Like, I don't want any of those kind of questions in my mind. That way, I can deal with whatever happens in that ring. If you beat me in that ring, look, man, you beat the best man that you could possibly beat that night. No excuses. And I'll tip my hat to a guy.
From what you're saying, it seems to me that you're still training like that little kid that has that burning fire, and it's very, very hard for fighters when they get to your age and older. It fizzes out. They made money, and they just kind of go through the motions.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem that way from what you're telling us with you.
And I can definitely see now that I've made a few dollars and I got some things. I can definitely sense how easy that is to kind of go to that side. But I'm just thankful that that's never been a struggle of mine. Because it could be tough. It could be tough.
Even though you said you're on the backside of your career, obviously, how long you fought and so forth, you still feel like you're at your peak, even though you're not going to have that many fights left, per se?
I mean, I won't say that. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to be, but
As far as being at your peak, moving up in weight, you still feel like
I'm
training.
Absolutely. I don't feel like I'm at my peak right now. And I feel like we're gonna see that November 19th. I really do. I don't feel like, when I'm in sparring, when I'm in like even the brand fight, like I didn't do everything I wanted to do. And again, it's just a crazy awkward fighter and those kind of things we talked about earlier. But like I'm not getting hit with punches that I typically wouldn't get hit with. When I try to certain things offensively. It's like I'm pretty much doing what I want to do. It's nothing in there where it's like, man, you normally wouldn't get hit with that.
Too slow.
Yeah, like that. That's when things get tricky, And I'm not at that point yet, man. I still have top flight sparring. Everything is the same. I just feel seasoned, man. I really do. I feel seasoned. I feel good. And the thing is just obviously to stay healthy. I'm training a lot smarter now. Like I do just as much, prehab and rehab stuff as I do actual training now, and that just comes with age. I got 20 some odd years in this sport, 20 going like maximum effort and with very minimal breaks in there. So you're going to start having stuff break down. You just got to make sure you do the recovery stuff and that keeps you in the game, so to speak.
You're probably one of the most professional fighters in the way you conduct yourself, right? You've probably been like that your entire career. Given Kovalev's killer persona or whatever, a lot of people probably want him to take on that villain role, but he's actually been pretty respectful, pretty professional.
Which is a little out of character.
That's what I was going to ask you. Does that surprise you at all?
I'm scratching my head a little bit. I'm used to seeing the guy, I've seen him flip guys off. I've seen him say crazy things like that's. I don't know him, so that I don't know if that was a show. I don't know if it, I've heard him say things like, "Oh, if they disrespect me, I'll disrespect them." Maybe that's it. But I feel like the way you carry yourself, that's what you're gonna get back. And I'm not the kind of guy like, I don't get that kind of stuff from fighters. It's not because I'm, you know, some he-man or nothing, but I carry myself in such a way where people know, hey, you know, this is a guy that had, you know, that carries himself with respect, but I'm not about them games either, bro. Like, I'm cool, but like, don't do that. And I think they can feel that. Guys know who they can do that kind of stuff with and who they can't. You know what I mean?
Has this fight turned a little bit from just a business, from just another fight, to more a little bit personal? Do you have something to come out to prove, a little chip on your shoulder or something like that? No?
Just gotta keep doing what I'm doing, man. It's always something to prove, so to speak. You know what I mean? But this fight it's just another one that I gotta have.
War ready.
It's another one I gotta have. But to be honest with you, like, it's funny because people say, man, this is the big one. I'm like, man, the last one was like that to me. And the last one was like, I mean, honestly, like, this is not a joke. Like, every fight is like that to me. Where it's like, dude, you gotta have it. You gotta be on point, man. You gotta make sure this is right. Like, those are the reps that I'm going through in my head. And so, obviously, I'm aware of the magnitude and pay-per-view and those kind of things. So it's bigger from that standpoint, but the approach is the same. The focus is the same. The effort is the same. It's no different. I can't play that game where it's like, I'm gonna take this one off. I'm gonna do 4-week camp for this one. That's when you get trouble. That's when you get trouble.
Andre, all the last one on my behalf, all the miles, all the rounds. I'm not saying you're gonna win, but if you do,
really?
who would you?
He's gonna put it out there. I'm not saying you're gonna win, man. Can I get a little love, man?
I mean that in all due respect, that it's such a competitive fight in that sense. But who would you dedicate the victory to? You've been through so much. I would imagine there's somebody there with you that you would dedicate this victory to.
I mean, obviously, you know, I'm gonna give glory to God, man. Obviously, and that's not a cliche. That's not a game. You know, it's my life, man. I wouldn't be here right now. And to be honest with you, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Like, I've already won. And what I mean is like what I've been through in life and what I've overcome. Like, you know, I've already won. You know, all this other stuff is a bonus, man. You know, I shouldn't be in the position that I'm in right now. I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. And I've already won, bro, in terms of just life. In terms of getting to this point.
You always been this humble, man. Don't talk to me.
Can you finish word, please, Andre?
I'm rapping. I'm done. Yeah.
Hey, they say,
Have you always been this humble, man? I mean, is that progress over life?
It's just progress over life, man. It's something that my dad, you know, even before I really understood what humility was, he demanded it. You know, I used to get, you know, newspapers that come to the gym. I start getting a little attention. You know, you always give God glory and you know, stay humble. And, you know, I didn't understand what that meant. But you get to a certain point in life where you intimately understand within yourself, like I'm putting in my work, but it's something greater than me and bigger than me getting me through, not just fights, but through life and moments. Like, and when you understand where your strength and your power comes from, man, there's no room to boast. There's no room to boast. And I'm not to say that we all got to fight pride. You know, we all got to fight it, but there's no room to boast, man. There's no room to boast. I know where my strength comes from, man. I thank God for these opportunities and you know, and really, to be honest with you, that's probably one of my greatest strengths, just even in the ring. Like, I'm the guy that doesn't look like much going into the fight. I'm not the biggest, not the strongest, not the fastest, but somehow, some way. And then guys are scratching their head like, man, looking at his coach like, you lied to me, man. You know, you lied. You said this was going to be easier.
if you beat Sergey, you beat the man. He has all the belts. And it would seem that, well, what's the point of staying in the division? You beat the guy and you proved everything. So is it now Andre Ward, 3-division world champion?
Crap. That's cruiserweight, man.
Because really, who else would there to be fight? You fought the guy, so it's like, really, well, what's the point of staying in the division?
I mean,
you told us you want to go heavyweight, so is it just the road to that?
We got to see. I'm going to be honest, Verge has already brought some different things up. You know, I'm like, man, we can't even talk about that right now, man. We got to fight November 19th. But the wheels are always turning with Verge. He's like, man, I got a guy I'm looking at right now. I'm like, really? Come on, man. But
What do you walk around at?
we'll see.
What do you walk around at?
I can't really talk about it.
All right, guys.
I can't really talk about it. I'm close to the weight.